I was thinking about them versus the 2018 Rockets because that would be the blueprint for this Mavs team, right? And that 2018 Rockets won 65 games, came within a stone's throw of beating that Warriors team, and maybe would have if Chris didn't get hurt. The Mavs obviously did not win 65 games, but from January on, I think they had one of the 4 best records. So at least they had a track record of they put together
Dallas.
Dallas.
Since the trade deadline, they had the second best record behind Boston.
So
but it was weird because their offensive defensive efficiency numbers would not match what you would think from that date on to have the second best record, but they did. So go ahead.
Yeah. So I don't think it's that far-fetched to say, all right, what are the similarities of those two teams? And you've talked about the ball dominant, how at some point you don't like it in the playoffs. And I think I agree with you. But Luka in 2022, Harden in 2018, a lot of similarities. I think the Mavs play a much slower pace. They shoot, their perfect game is like a 101 to 94 type game. That was not the case for the Rockets. But you go through the rosters, you think Luka and Brunson were the top 2 for this team. 18 had Harden and CP3, but it wasn't really CP3. It was like sidekick. I don't have the ball a lot, CP3. So the way they were using him was a little closer to Brunson.
Yeah, they staggered him a ton, though. So it's still a better number 2 than anything Dallas has right now.
Yeah, but if you just look at statistically, Brunson, how they're using him is pretty close to what CP3 was like 18, 5, and 6 on that Rockets team, right? Their next 2 guys are Finney-Smith and Bullock. The Rockets had Ariza and Gordon. It's pretty close, right? I'm going to say that might be a wash for 2 against 2. I think I like Finney-Smith the most out of those 4 guys. Then the next 2 is Kleba and Powell versus Tucker and Capela. And then you have Bertans and Dinwiddie versus Luke Mbah Mute, who got hurt in that playoffs actually, and Gerald Green. Now, the league was, I think,
Houston's
a little bit worse in 2018, but which team do you like more out of those 2?
That Houston team.
Yeah, I think, but it's not as pronounced as I thought it was going to be.
Did you feel this way? Did you feel this way 3 days ago?
I like this Mavs team. I did, but I just thought the Suns were a juggernaut. I thought that they were just going to roll, and I thought they were going to roll through the West. Now, some weird shit happened. Chris had the weird game 3, and then he played 23 minutes tonight. But I don't know. I like this Mavs team. I like that they play defense. I like that they know who they are. I like that they have 2 scorers. And I like the Luka piece of it. That, who fucking knows? Did you see that stat today? Most points through 20 playoff games. MJ 1, 718. Wilt 2, 705. Luka 3, 655. McAdoo 653. Kareem 616. Oscar 616. It's pretty good company.
Yeah, there's a lot of helpless
I'm just
moments.
not willing to be like, oh, well, Phoenix is going to roll over these guys. I think this is going to be a hard series. I think it goes 7. I think they win.
I'll say 2
Phoenix.
things. I think Phoenix is the better basketball team, and
Me too.
Completely blown away and impressed by what Dallas just did these last 2 games.
Me too.
It isn't about the refs. I'm simply pointing out to not have Chris Paul. I think, is it okay to say that's not a good thing for your team to have him in game 4? He sucked in game 3. I've said it 3 times. I'm so impressed with their intensity. The adjustment, I think, to bring the pressure up instead of letting just somebody get settled into it, which also means that you have to be ready for that. It didn't feel like Phoenix. I don't know. Like, how long are you going to keep having your ball handlers get manhandled? And I'm not saying because fouls were called, but like, be ready for it, have something off of it. And then
and they also figured out how to unlock Brunson in the last 2 games. Because in coming out of game 2, it's like, man, this is what a brutal beat for Brunson. He goes from the Utah perimeter defense to this Phoenix team. But then they figured out how to get him in better space, and he got more aggressive. He does that thing where it's a little like what Drew Holiday has been doing. These kind of power point guards or power guards. They're in your face. They're putting their shoulder, and they're doing this herky-jerky shit out of the 70s, and he's made it work. The Luka piece of this would scare the shit out of me if I'm Phoenix, because I just had the best season of anybody. I'm the best team in the league, and yet I don't want this to come down to 1 game against him. Like, I want to end this before game 7. I don't want to go to a game 7 where now Luka is in the game and he might get hot for a quarter, and all of a sudden I'm down 8 with 6 minutes left and he's got 42. Yeah,
the rest of the pieces, like Dallas has had multiple guys show up in big spots in these last 2 games. And it's felt like the exact opposite with Phoenix. Like Shamit doesn't look comfortable out there. We already talked about Payne. There's certain shots I expect to go in from Crowder a little bit later in the game. I don't expect it to go in. Ayton ends up with his numbers kind of, 16 and 11 in game 3, 14 and 11. But, there was a huge rebound possession there where they were fighting. Like there were still like little teases, like Phoenix was going to figure this out and make it a 1-possession game. There was a couple moments there where you're like, okay, is Phoenix going to settle this? And this is all without Paul because Booker was smart enough to initiate his contact and get some foul calls. And, there was a rebound where I think Kleba came up with it in a sea of like 3 Suns. And I don't know what J. Kidd, I don't know what the staff did, but, I can tell you some of the stuff that we've already covered. But I'm incredibly impressed with their resolve, which, again, I still think is them going up against a more talented team. Because, even though Bridges is a guy who can get 20 or can get 4, I think it's really hard for anybody to deal with Luka on these backdowns. And Bridges just doesn't have the size. Almost no one's going to have the size mobility combination to consistently shut that down. But, 1 through 7, I don't know. Dallas figured out a way to play their roles better than Phoenix did.
Is it fair to say Phoenix is still as good as we thought they were? I don't think less of them after those 2 games. I still think it's a really, really good team. I think they're the best team in the league. I still think somebody could beat them in a series, but I think they're the best team in the league. I think more of Dallas than I did. I think that's where I've landed. Yeah. I think their stock has risen for me the last 2 games.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know how much of the last series was how bad Utah's perimeter defense was and just how kind of messed up Utah is as a team. But I think just getting this to 2-2, and now, man, with Chris, this is, yet again, we're in the situation with him where this is a huge game for him, this game 5. Because he 2 stinkers in a row. And this is all right, Chris Paul, let's go. Let's go, point guard. This is one of those games. I fully expect him to be awesome in game 5, just for the record.